He has received his feedback back from the undergraduate committee. That came back a few days ago, and a lot of those conversations obviously will remain private, but he has gotten good feedback, and people recognize what a great player he is.
Some kids they don't make great decisions when it comes to the draft. Isaiah seems like a pretty mature kid. How confident are you that whatever he decides, it'll be a pretty smart, well-informed decision?
Yeah, I have no doubt that whatever decision Isaiah and his family will make will be for sure the right decision. I think the exact wording last night when I talked with Derek, and like I said, Isaiah just got off the phone on the Zoom call. They are not hiring an agent. That was made abundantly clear. That they're going through the process to use it as a feedback time and to try to make the best decision that they possibly can. But they are not hiring an agent for sure.
And as far as the signings, KK Robinson, I guess he's your latest guy. You hadn't been able to talk about him briefly. What's your thoughts about KK and what he brings to the table for you guys?
Yeah, KK, one, he's a great competitor, very serious-minded about the game, really good speed with the basketball, really unselfish. When I watched him at Oak Hill, he played with some guys that really score the ball, and he was perfectly content to make his teammates better, to share the ball. He's got great court vision. He's really good in transition. He's a point guard that's a facilitator. And then defensively, he can put great pressure on the ball. He can pick up in the backcourt and turn ball handlers. So, I think that he's a guy that he's really good at advanced passes. I think that's the one thing when different staff members went to watch him practice in Oak Hill was his ability to lead transition points both off the bounce and off advanced passes.
And then, obviously this season you guys did a really nice job of adjusting with a lack of depth and lack of size. Looks like, or how well do you feel like you addressed those two issues in particular with this entire signing class?
Yeah, I think
as well as the red shirts,
Welcome in. It's our Thursday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479 as we come to you every day from Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And we continue to let you guys and listeners, viewers here, our teleconference that we had this past Monday with head basketball coach Eric Musselman, because I feel like that's really important to hear in the coach's words, not so much from the media sometimes, but from the coach himself, his philosophy, his staff's philosophy, as far as recruiting, schematically, he understands his players better than any of us. So I've always felt like that's always been part of our show. And I'm going to bring in my man with the plan, always behind the scene. What's up, D?
What's good, Pat?
Just hanging out. Where are you at when, are you one of those guys that you like a coach like Eric Musselman, probably like Mike Neighbors, and from what we've seen, Sam Pittman, guys that are up front with their players as well as the media, and you always feel like you have a plan. I think that's really what the fans deserve. From from our standpoint, don't I mean, just based on what we give them from our show, where are you at with that?
Absolutely. I think every fan base wants the honest truth, whether it's good or bad, because as a fan, you want to ride with your team when it's good or bad. So I think as a true diehard fan and a person that's investing their money, their hard-earned money into the program, I think they should have as much insight as possible.
The NFL draft today starts for many of these collegiate football players that spent 3, 4, some of them 5 years. Arkansas expects to have a few guys in Sosa again, Cameron Curl, um, Cheyenne O'Grady, and Scooter Harris. Those are the 4 guys that you would anticipate to have their names called at some point from tonight all the way through Saturday. And I think some of the sleepers, as you said before we came on air, Demetrius, you saw where Mel Kiper um, called Cameron Curl one of the sleeper guys. You've had a chance to watch Cameron the 3 years that he did play at Arkansas. What was your assessment, and where do you think he fits as far as this draft? I mean, what round?
I probably have him going anywhere between that 4th through 6th round. If you really look at the NFL draft, it's not really a lot of highly touted cornerbacks in this year's draft. So I think he definitely has a chance to go. What I consider going 2-10, and then what was the prior year? Did they go
2-10.
2-10? So going winning 4 games in 2
I
years.
think he won 5. I think he won 8 games.
His total career. Ooh. So when you look at that body of work as far as winning 8 games over a span of 3 years, I think considering getting drafted in the 4th or 6th round, I think that's great for the body of work that he has to show.
Yeah.
But athletically, I think he's there.
Yeah, because I think at the same time you have to look at his body of work. Sometimes I think some of these kids, and not just at Arkansas, so we don't want to make this a homer opinion, but really good football players get lost in the shuffle because their team isn't having the success that maybe some others, when it's a 50-50 situation. But sometimes that's injuries. Maybe you just don't have the players on the offense. I mean, when you look at Cameron Curl, Demetrius, defensively, over a period of 3 years, he, Sosa, and Scooter, they spent a lot of time on the football field simply because the offensive production just didn't lend them enough time to catch their breath very often.
Absolutely, and I think even if you look over the last couple of years with the production they've done as far as a win-loss column, I think it's great with the success Arkansas has had with the draft picks. You look at Hunter Henry, you look at again Sosa again, you look at Alex Collins, you look at they came out right before the kind of the plummet of the program. So even when you look at guys like Drew Morgan that went to the NFL, Austin Allen, they were on the end cusp. But I still think with the Bielema era, because I think he was a mediocre coach. When you look at what Arkansas has produced from an NFL talent, I think we've done a pretty good job. And I think with the addition of Sam Pittman coming in, I think you're going to see that number shoot up drastically. Even when you look at linemen, I think long as Sam Pittman here, you're going to see 2 to 3 linemen get drafted from Arkansas every year.
I believe that. And like you said, if you don't understand, and Sam's always said it, if you don't understand how to recruit in the SEC football in particular, if you don't understand the landscape about this conference in every way, shape, or form, you cannot survive. And I think that's what failed. That's why Brett and I think, for the most part, I think Chad fell victim is they just didn't have enough coaches collectively on their staff that understood the way you have to intensely recruit in this conference, which leads us on to what we keep talking about. We tell you they don't stop watching. We don't either. The Hog Eye segment will continue, but before we get on with our guests, and I'll let you know who those really great young men are, let's talk about our sponsors because this wouldn't be possible without those guys, and we want to give them a shout out. Lindsay and Associates with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. Locomotion, located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Banks Custom Painting, and the one we always talk about because Demetrius and I love to go down there. Meet us there or beat us there. That's KDK's Chicken. It's located at 989 South Razorback Road. Go see Keith and Kathy. Get a plate of that love, and like they say on the building, it's not your mama's, but I added this. best chicken and waffles in the South. But now on to the Hall Guy segment and get you guys ready because we're about to hop on the bus and get on to the places we got to get to throughout this show. But our first stop, we're heading to Mississippi where we're going to talk to 2022 wide receiver prospect out of Moss Point, Mississippi, Moss Point High School. We're going to talk to Larry Simmons. We'll find out what Larry and how he feels about the University of Arkansas, all coming up here momentarily. And then we're going to stay on the offensive side of football because, I mean, when you see guys like a Hunter Henry, A.J. Derby, Jeremy Sprinkle, those guys have success. You kind of want Arkansas offers. You kind of want to listen to what they have to say. And we're going to make our way down to Alexandria, Louisiana, where we're going to catch up one of them boot halls. You know how important the Louisiana State is. Alexandria High School's own Shield Taylor, the 2021 tight end. He's about to join us. So let's get it going. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
And at 6'10", and the ability to play a couple different positions. And Moses gives us great size at 6'6", 200 pounds. And then you look at, Devo Davis is long at his position, and obviously Jalen Tate. It's not just about the four high school guys, but Jalen Tate at 6'6" gives us good size. And then you think about the sit-out guys. Vance Jackson is another guy that was a grad transfer commitment at 6'9", and then 7'2" sitting out. Connor and Bebe gives us some size as well. So I think our roster looks significantly different than last year.
As a coach, how much better do you feel about having, so many options? Last year you were pretty limited, especially when Isaiah got hurt.
What up,
now
big
looks
dog?
Like you got a whole lot more things to, a lot more chess pieces on the board.
Yeah, I mean, we had lengthy discussions all morning. One of the meetings lasted about 3 hours today, just about, style of play, format of practice is going to be different. There's going to be a lot more competitive things when we get back together. There'll be a lot more 5-on-5 than what we did last year, where last year was a lot of station work. But because of our depth and lack of depth last year, we had to do a lot of 4-on-0 technique work in stations, and now we're going to be able to teach more instead of teaching parts of an offense or parts of a defensive scheme. Now we're going to be able to do more whole off the fly. It'll be important as a coach to be able to, when there is stoppage in a practice, to be able to coach all 10 players off one stoppage rather than just, teaching 2 or 3 guys at a station breakdown. I'll be much more involved in practice, than maybe even what I was this past year.
Yeah, I had a few more questions, but I'll turn it back over to Kyle if he doesn't mind swinging back around to me at the end.
Thanks, Bob. We'll come back. Alyssa, do you have any questions?
Drew is going to ask questions. Thank you, Kyle.
What is Drew's phone? What are the last 4 numbers of Drew's phone number? We'll come back. Nate, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I got a couple. Eric, with the deeper roster, I mean, do you now have like a quicker hook in the game where a guy makes a mistake, you pull him out?
Welcome back. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins, Sports Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479. It's our Thursday edition, and we're going to continue on with a segment I think is really the backbone of every program. We have our Hall Guy segment, and Coach Sam Pittman mentioned to us here in the media locally that he felt like they needed to have a bigger presence and brand in that 2022 class that's so nationally unknown with a lot of good prospects. So Coach and his staff offensively made their way to Moss Point, Mississippi, where we're going to bring in another very important prospect and offer at the wide receiver position. Moss Point, Mississippi, Moss Point High's own Larry Simmons. Larry, welcome to OTH.
Hey, thanks for having me, Pat.
Let's get into recruiting. Larry, you got offered by Coach Justin Stepp. Talk about what that conversation was like. And second part, Larry, is who are some of the other schools that's made offers, and if not, are on the verge of making you a very high priority.
Yeah, the talk with Coach Steph, he was just breaking it down to me. They viewed my film obviously, and they see me as a great playmaker and a real standout guy. Um, talent, talent like mine is hard to isn't hard to come by where I'm from. It makes a big difference. I'm just trying to put my city on the map. And I got other offers from like Arkansas, Oregon, Ole Miss, Miami, and Indiana, and other Power Five schools. They basically just saying the same thing. They viewed my film and noticed I was a great playmaker and a guy who can get the job done when the team needs me. And they see me being a great fit for their program.
When you looked at your sophomore year, when you sat down with your offensive staff and your head coach and just made notes of what you felt good about that you did really well, Larry, and then what you made notes that, hey, this is what I got to work on. What did you feel good about? And then secondly, what are you working on to get ready for your junior year? Because with all these offers comes a little bit more of a target. What are some things that Larry Simmons is trying to get better at?
Yeah, just gotta come harder than last season. Last season, I think I did a good job on the offensive side of the ball, being a great playmaker. And I think this season, coming into my junior year, I need to work on going up to get the ball like at the highest point and working on double coverage situations, because I know it's gonna be coming. I've seen it quite a little bit during my sophomore season.
Right. Talking with Larry Simmons of Moss Point, Mississippi, Moss Point High School, big-time 2022 wide receiver. High priority for Coach Justin Stepp, Kendall Browse, and that entire offensive staff for Coach Sam Pittman at Arkansas. But when you looked at just the culture of Moss Point, where you come from, Larry, and you made the correct statement. Talk about the culture and, what is it about Moss Point, Mississippi, that just that you'll always take when you move on to college football?
Boss Point is all about family, man. Everybody down here, we all support each other, man. We just one big family. We want to see everybody win, make it to the next level. We great support system behind me. The city's behind me. They're encouraging me. A lot of love in the city, and that's what I'm gonna take with me. No matter how far, if I leave Moss Point, Mississippi, and never come back, I'm always have that family, the family feeling.
Being an in-state young man in the SIP, most of the time you guys get a lot of in-state pressure to either stay in state. And right there at Moss Point where you sit, Larry, you're in between Oxford and Starkville, pretty much. Do you feel any of the in-state pressure, or is that just something that the Simmons family will sit down and make the best decision for Larry Simmons?
Yes, most definitely gonna have to be the best decision for me, Larry, myself. Because at the end of the day, the decision is for me. So yeah, it's gonna have to come down to whatever is the best decision for me in my future.
Larry,
So
go ahead.
You go ahead.
How do you get your workouts in with the COVID pandemic? Pretty much shutting down spring football and a chance for athletes to get in their gyms and get better for the upcoming seasons, either football, baseball, basketball, whatnot. How do you maintain the workouts, and what is a workout schedule now during this time for Larry Simmons?
I work out like 2 to 3 times a day. Get up early 6 in the morning. I meet up with my offense personnel and go over plays and stuff, route running. Basically field work early 6 in the morning. Or some days we'll hit the beach and do conditioning. Just keeping the fresh legs, keeping it fresh, keeping the iron sharp.
When you watch college football or NFL football, Larry, who are some of the players that you like to keep a close eye on and study what they do and possibly add parts of it to what you do each and every Friday night?
The one player I can say I watch and try to pick up from and add to my arsenal is Lamar Jackson. I see that he kind of reminds me of myself. I feel like we're basically like the same athlete. Like we can play, quarterback, wide receiver, running back if it comes down to it. Because I follow Lamar throughout college and stuff. And I feel like we're the same athlete, explosive. And I just watch his game and I add to mine whatever I can pick up on.
Now, when I'm at Moss Point High School there at Moss Point, Mississippi, got my popcorn, my 7-Up, 20 ounce. I'm at the highest bleacher in the stadium. What type of football player, Larry? Tell me, what will you show me for 4 quarters once that ball's kicked off?
Oh, you coming to view a top athlete. Very exciting show. I'm going to put a show on for you. Make sure I come out with the victory. It's going to be very exciting show. You come to watch a ball player do what he does best.
Could you tell the listeners, Larry, something that they may not know about Larry Simmons that you'd like to share with some of them?
Like to share with them. Anything I like to share?
Yeah, anything they may not that you want them to know that they don't know about you right now.
Let me see.
It could be anything.
To all the listeners out there, you're listening to the best wide receiver to ever come out of Moss Point, Mississippi. Write it down. Your pen pad. Get your pen right now. Your notebooks, your pads. Larry Simmons is a name to remember.
See,
Greatness.
I like that, my man. Now let's even have a little more fun. We riding the Mare Moss Point, Mississippi, my man, in the SIP. I'm on them old school cats. I'm trying to figure out what's the new music that's good to hear right now. Larry, if I'm riding in the car with you on a Friday night, DJ Larry Simmons, what's the first 5 songs on your playlist that I'm going to listen to?
Lil Baby, Something to Prove. That's my theme song. I gotta go with the Lil Baby for the #1 song. Start the car ride off.
All right.
Cause I feel like I have something to prove. This song really motivates me and gives me that push. Cause I rely on music a lot. A lot of people do. Just get you in the mood for any situation.
Right. Number 2.
Yeah. And number 2, probably. Let's see. I'm really a Lil Baby fan. I listen to Lil Young Boy. I listen to Lil Baby, NBA Young Boy, and rappers like that. I listen to rap and hip hop. Might throw a little R&B in there now and then.
Well, that's how I'll definitely ride with you in the SIP with that type of vibe. But Larry, I'm gonna make a statement, my man, and I want you to finish it if you would. When football is done for Larry Simmons of Moss Point, Mississippi, when it's all said and done, you're done with football. Larry Simmons will be doing what with the rest of his life after football?
Basically, probably just being an athletic trainer, coming back and giving to the community, and helping kids like me along the road, and helping them with the process when they get to the steps that I am right now in life. Just be like a mentor and a guide for younger athletes.
Well, Larry, my man, love having you on, man. Hey, now check this out, Larry. This can't be the last time that you're on the hill. We have to build this relationship because you got 2 seasons, and hopefully we can be a part of your journey and just be a platform for you to speak on it. How about that?
Oh, most definitely.
Hey, Larry, you have a blessed one, my man, and hey, good luck on your junior season.
You too. Thank you. Keep in touch.
All right. That was Larry Simmons of Moss Point, Mississippi, Moss Point High School, the 2022 wide receiver prospect. Demetrius has a lot to the table, and I could see, and I think you could too as in viewers, the Lamar Thomas comparison. Was it accurate? Did he speak on that pretty good?
Oh yeah, just a guy that can really do things in open space. Can do a lot. he's a baller and he has the confidence. I think those are two things that you really can't coach. That's kind of God given and it has to be taught from where people come from. But I know he really believes in his talent. You don't really find kids to come out and say, "Hey, write that down. I'm the best player to come out of my state, city." I think that's the first time somebody said
First
something
time
like
I
that.
think we've had something like that on.
And that to me, shows charisma, character, the faith that he believes in himself, the work ethic. He's talking about still working out 2 to 3 times a day. So, I hope he does choose Arkansas as a place that he decides to come play football because, again, I think at 22, hey, write it down for me right now. Listen to Demetrius. I'm telling you, we're going to be in hunts for some type of banner come 22, 23. I guarantee you Arkansas is going to be in the mix of some type of championship.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to call Larry back at 1:45. He wants to give a special shout out. So we always said our show and our line are the kids' line. We want to make it work that. But yeah, we will be having Larry back on at 1:45 so he can give a special shout out. But we got to gas up, leave the SIP. We're not going, but just another state over. We're going to take a hop, skip, and a flip over to the boot state because the boot hogs are very important to the University of Arkansas. Where we'll stop in Alexandria, Louisiana, and catch up with Shield Taylor of Alexandria High School. The big 2021 tight end's about to speak on stage. He's up next. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a bit.
Man, I like chicken and waffles. What's a good place I can get some chicken and waffle? I know. KDK's Chicken at 989 South Razorback Road. Get on down there and see Keith and Kathy. Get a plate of that loving. Like they say on their building, it's not your mama's. The best chicken and waffles in the South. They even got chicken wings, and they got these things called loaded fries. I think you might want to get on down there. Meet me down there or see me down there. KDK's Chicken at 989 Razorback Road.
A guy that does a great job with life skills with our players. He's a very spiritual man. Our guys like to confide in Corey. They like to lean on him. And he did a great job for us recruiting. He does a great job for us on the floor, and he does a great job in game.
And then the media. I know we talk a lot about your social media skills. Do you ever get surprised at the reaction? Most are pretty positive. I guess there's been at least one SEC assistant coach out there that seems to have targeted you for maybe going overboard. I don't know. What do you think about the media or the social media reaction to your videos, which is pretty overwhelmingly positive?
Yeah, I mean, it's when I think that if you can hit on a 98% positive and a 2% not, I'll take those odds in anything in life.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm not really worried about the 2%.
Okay. I think it's Kim English over at Tennessee that's maybe had some tweets about, maybe it's in that 2%. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't really know who he is.
Okay. He played in Missouri. And just wanted to double check. So you never acted in any plays or anything as a kid growing up? You didn't do any acting at all?
No, I haven't, Bob.
Okay.
I might, though. I mean, maybe when I'm retired from coaching, I'll have a late career as an actor.
Maybe you could do some community theater or so. Oh, okay. Well, I think I'm good.
All right.
Thanks, Bob. Nikki.
Hi, Coach. How's it going?
Good. How are you, Nikki? You've been quiet lately.
I'm good. Last week you mentioned the new proposal that prospects or players will get a one-time penalty-free transfer rule. What do you think that will do to the complexion of the game?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, Nikki. I'd rather not, not comment until there's clarity of if it's going to pass, and then if it passes, when exactly it goes into effect. Just as anything, when I guess when we know what that is, I can give a better, feeling. But I do think that anytime with anything that we can give, the student athletes, it's all about, them, and, whatever, helps them have the 4 best years of or 2 years or 3 years or however long they're in college, that they can have the very best lifetime experience. I'm all for it.
One more, Coach. KK and Moses playing at Oak Hill and Montverde. What do you feel like that adds to their?
Welcome back. It's our Thursday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479, and we're going to continue on with our Hall Guys segment. As you know, we'd like to continue on because we said Arkansas and the Hall Guys understand Pittman and all coaches on that campus. They don't stop watching, so we're not either, and we're going to bring it to you and let you just be a part of the culture that they're building under Sam Pittman. So we thought that we would head down because Coach Pittman and that offensive staff under John Cooper, Kendall Browse, they're looking for some really, really big tight ends to, be a part of that offense. So they made their way down to the Boot Hog State, where it's really important, in Alexandria, Louisiana, where they caught up with Alexandria High School's own 2021 tight end prospect, Shield Taylor. Shield, welcome to the Hill.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Talk about the recruiting process. Shield, Arkansas came in just a little over, I believe, a week ago with a scholarship offer from Coach John Cooper. What was that conversation like? And secondly, who are other schools right now, Shield, that are making you high priority with offers or that are on the verge based on conversations you've had?
Right. So Coach Cooper actually texted me a couple of days before the offer. And we were just, we were talking. He was just getting to know me. I was getting to know him. And he contacted my head coach, and they started to talk about me and everything. And then my head coach texted me, and he said, Coach Cooper really liked me. He's really interested. So Coach Cooper called me one day, or he asked me to call him. And we just got to talking about Arkansas's program and how they use their tight ends. And then he told me he'd like to offer me. So I was overjoyed and humbled. But ever since Arkansas offered, that's a big SEC offer. So a lot of other Power Fives have started to talk and everything.
What schools have offered since Arkansas that really, kind of at the moment stick out to you, Shield?
Man, there's a bunch of good ones. They all kind of stick out.
Right.
But Arizona offered yesterday, and I know they have a good tight end coach over there and everything. Cincinnati and Memphis also offered. They have great tight end programs. So
Chill, when you look at the fact that, Hunter Henry, a big-time tight end, just was named the highest paid tight end in all of college football, played his college football at Arkansas. Cheyenne O'Grady just finished up his career at Arkansas, expected to be taken in this weekend's draft. There's Jeremy Sprinkle, A.J. Derby. With the fact that Arkansas has had such a rich tradition here recently of having tight ends come through, get developed, and move on, how much of a factor will that be? Where Arkansas is concerned, because you still got a couple of months to decide.
Right, that will definitely be a big factor. Obviously, it's very attractive when you have tight ends go to the league, because ultimately that's the dream, right? You want to go to college, play a good 4 years, and get a good degree, and then be able to go play in the NFL. So that's definitely a contributing factor to where I'll make my decision.
What are you planning on majoring in once you pick your school of choice?
I'm thinking about biomedical engineering. If not that, then something in the engineering field.
Okay, I like that pretty good engineering field at Arkansas, but I didn't say that. I don't want to be I don't want to be accused of tampering.
No, yeah, I have Yeah, I have heard that a lot. Actually, they do have a great program.
Well, talk about how you're able to get in your workouts. Shield, I know with this COVID pandemic shutting down spring ball and you guys being able to go to your high schools and get in your normal off-season condition. How are you able to continue to stay in shape so when you do get back to normal life, you'll be ready to go?
Right. Well, me and my brothers have a weight room in our garage, so I try to lift weights there as much as possible. And then, I mean, they'll go out with me and we'll run routes and they'll throw me the ball. Well, one of them actually used to play football, so he's a hard down coach on me. But yeah, he's definitely making sure I'll be better than I was last year.
See,
so that's good.
I'm one of the bigger. I'm kind of the bigger brother and my producer also. We're kind of more bigger brothers. So when we have little brothers and nephews that we like to coach up. I mean, having an older brother and older brothers that are so involved with you and kind of tough. I mean, how important is that, Shield?
Oh man, it's probably the most important thing. Like my two older brothers and my older sister practically raised me.
Right.
I mean, mom was always at work, so they took it upon themselves to do everything they can to make sure I could go where I need to go. So, they really looked after me and made sure I had my head on straight.
Now, is this a situation? Do you plan on signing and enrolling at your school of choice early, or is that you're just going to wait and to that traditional first Wednesday in February?
I do plan on waiting because with everything that's going on right now, I'd like to be able to visit a couple places first. So I mean, I'm thinking like closer towards senior year at least.
Speaking of that, what places do you plan on getting out to, or were you planning on trying to see during the spring football before the pandemic hit? And also, too, what are some of the schools that if you had a priority that you want to get out to, where would it be?
Right. Well, before all this hit, none of the big schools were really interested just yet. So I was planning on going to visit a couple more local ones, like Louisiana Tech, ULM, and ULL. But obviously, the recruitment process has definitely picked up since a lot of this has been going on. So I do plan on visiting the 4 Power Fives that have offered, like Stanford, Duke, Arkansas, and Arizona. And then there's definitely a couple of the schools with great tight end programs that haven't offered yet, such as I know Memphis, Tulane, Boise. I'd like to visit as much as I can,
Right. Talking with Shield Taylor of Alexandria, Louisiana, Alexandria High School. He's a big-time 2021 tight end prospect for John Cooper, Kendall Browse, and Sam Pittman, that entire offensive staff at the University of Arkansas. But, Shield, who are some tight ends at the collegiate or NFL level that you really like to watch?
I would definitely like to watch George Kittle. I mean, he's exactly what you want in a tight end. He's just very versatile. Was able to do it all. Rob Gronkowski's great. Travis Kelce's great. I mean, there's plenty I could name.
Now, when I come to the stadium there in Alexandria, at Alexandria High School, and I got my popcorn and I got a Sprite 20 ounce, my man, and I'm going to the highest seat I can get to because I want to watch number 85. When that football is kicked off for 4 quarters, what type of football player will I see in Shield Taylor?
A very physical and aggressive football player, definitely. Man, when I get on the field, I just flip on the switch, and I don't turn it off till I get home.
I like that, my man. Now let's continue to have a little fun, Shield. You and I riding around Alexandria, Louisiana, my man, on a Friday night. I'm in the passenger seat and you driving, and I just happen to say I'm old, Shield. I mean, what's new? What's the new songs popping off at DJ man. Shield Taylor's club? What's the 5 songs on the playlist that you're gonna play for me?
Oh man, you caught me off guard. I mean, I listen to all sorts of music. My sister, she's very artistic, so she's all over the spectrum, and my brother's art as well. So I definitely have a mix of those. So a little bit of rap, hip hop, everything, man. It's all over the place.
Well, hey, my man, I really enjoyed it. But last
Yes, sir.
question, and I want you to complete this statement. When football is done with, when it's all done for Shield Taylor, Shield Taylor's going to be doing what with his life after football?
Man, I'm definitely gonna be happy. That's the one thing I can guarantee.
Well, Shield,
But
go ahead.
oh, I mean, I just want to be a big influence to those around me. That's all I can ask for.
Well, my man, yeah, I really enjoyed this conversation. And hey, Shield, this can't be the last time that you and I talk throughout this
Yes,
process.
sir,
As
for
our
sure.
show is your show, our line is your line. But for the moment, hey, good luck on your senior year, and thanks for taking time out here on the hill.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, bub. That was 2021 tight end prospect and offer and major prospect for the University of Arkansas, Shield Taylor out of Alexandria, Louisiana, Alexandria High School, Demetrius. This kid and the tight ends that he mentioned, you kind of get a simple fact. He's pretty versatile tight end.
Definitely, I think the one that he said that stuck out the most to me was Travis Kelce. I think if I really had to look at his tape and the type of tight end that he is, I think that's the closest comparison. The guy that can really catch the ball, big physical, can make some things happen with his feet. Not scared to go out there and block. So I think he's a very versatile and well-rounded tight end.
Right, and then that just goes, I mean, you look at the positions and the athletes, Demetrius, and we keep talking about it. And I know, fans sometimes seem like we're being homer when we make these comments, but the athletes, the multiple positions that these young men are, offensive, defensive, and it doesn't matter, linebacker, defensive end, cornerback, wide receiver, running back, quarterback, tight end, offensive guard, tackle center, it doesn't matter. I mean, a lot of what they're recruiting are big physical guys that are freakish athletically. That's what we're really starting to see. But we're going to step away, and then we're going to come back. Where do you see Arkansas, the players that we mentioned, Sosa, Akeem, Cheyenne O'Grady, Cameron Curl, and Scooter Harris. Also, too, who are some of your sleepers like Devwah Whaley, T.J. Smith? Who are some of the guys that could be sleepers in this weekend's NFL draft? Talk to us, shoot us your questions, and we're going to respond in this last segment. It's all about the fans now. This is your time. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in.
All right, I'm going to open everybody up. Anybody have any more questions for Coach Musselman here before we go?
Eric,
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Bob again. I had one more. And
sorry, Bob, I have a question.
Okay, who's that?
No, sorry. Go ahead, Bob. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Hey, when you tweet out those pictures of box scores, were those like the original box scores from 20 whatever years ago, or had you just made copies of those like off the internet, or how old were those boxes?
Those are copies, probably from, I'm going to say, my Warrior days, actually.
Okay, so why do you have all those old boxes?
Well, I'm sitting here with Mike Kaywood. I got all of our old practice plans. I actually went today. I have the entire that year with Orlando Magic because I wanted to tweet out the practice plan leading up to the Bulls. I actually have practice plans, the entire training camp practice plans, and then I stopped and I missed like 2 weeks in November. It goes till November 10th. I tracked down Tom Sterner, and Tom Sterner's actually sending me in the mail all of our practice plans because I'm missing about 45 from that year. And Kaywood's sitting here right now. He's got the practice book with the handwritten notes, so he can take a picture and send it to you if you want him, Bob.
Okay. And then I may get my years mixed up, but you mentioned about Jordan and the Wizards. I know by then he sat out a couple of years, and then he was like, 38 or 39 or something. Well, If you faced him in his Wizards years, what was he like then?
Slower, non-athletic. You'll see on Sunday because I'm going to tweet
Welcome back. Hey, sometimes you got to interrupt things. You know, you got to have some breaking news when people want to give shout outs on our show that do such a great job. You have to let them because we're about family and we're about shout outs. And like we say, we tell them their show. I mean, our show is their show. Our line is their line. Well, we had one call back and he just did a great job. The man from the ship, Larry Simmons, is back. Larry,
Hey,
do the
thanks for
shout
having
out.
me back.
Hey, no
Hey,
problem.
thanks for having me back. I just want to give a shout out to my coach, my offensive coordinator, Coach Ray Pickering. He's been a great help along this process, helping me achieve my dreams by getting all these offers in. I just want to thank him and for all the wonderful things he's done for me. And I hope we continue to work and move on, complete the mission.
That's real, man. I'm telling you now. You know when you made that statement about telling somebody that they something that they may not know. I'm telling you, you already got a fan here in my studio with my producer Demetrius. I'm telling you, that statement, Larry, was the first time that we had a young man speak with such confidence. So that excites us, and I know it excites Razorback fans and every other program that's offered you. So, I mean, I know they're going to get a great player and an even more special young man, but just the way you've displayed yourself today, Larry. But thanks for calling back. Hey, you know the number. Anytime you want to shout at us, holler at us.
All right, thank you.
All right, my man. Demetrius, I mean, that has to speak volumes. Yeah, I see you over there. He just slowly by slowly. If he comes to Arkansas, I could see who would kind of tilt the scales on your board.
Yeah,
I can see it.
He ran number 5 at Reggie Bush, so I see a lot of Reggie Bush is in him, even though he plays wide receiver. But like I said, I think Arkansas can be a great home. I think again, it's going to be so appealing when the offensive line gets set because I think any skilled player wants to play with a well-touted offensive line because it just makes your game easier and it allows you to do what you do at the highest level when you have other great athletes around you.
Right, and just the confidence that all these young men have displayed in their games and what they want to do with themselves after football. All of them seem to have a plan, a direction, and when you have that, and it goes back to Coach Sam Pittman and that staff identifying the type of football player and the type of culture that they're going to create. Yeah, they're going to go out and get ballers, but they're going to go out and get guys that handle themselves well, both on the field and off the field. Do it in the classroom because you have, great teams have dependable players when coaches are not watching, Demetrius.
Absolutely. What's interesting is a lot of these guys want to be engineers, man. I'm glad that they have high standards for themselves.
See how we said we wasn't tampering.
Not at all. I think Arkansas is really known on a national level for the engineering program. Like I'm telling you, I started off in engineering. I wasn't able to make it through the entire course when that what is it? Differential equations came around. I was kind of clueless, so I had to make a business decision and change my major. But but I did start off as an engineering program, and it's great. They have a lot of people to see you succeed, and there's a lot of programs to really help you life after college. And I think Arkansas really offers a lot for not only just engineers, but especially young black engineers, because there's not a lot of them. And I think Arkansas does a good job creating a lot of STEM programs for African Americans to come here and be engineers.
Yeah, because that's always been a selling point. Arkansas's engineering program, I do echo that, is one of the elite in all of collegiate institutions academically. And so, like I said, you've heard a lot of these young men say they want to be engineers. Well, right there alone should get Arkansas at least some consideration. But we want to give a thank you to all of our. No, we got a couple minutes, don't we? We got a couple minutes. Real quick, tonight's draft, who's the first Razorback taken, in your opinion?
Oh, Cheyenne O'Grady, no doubt. No doubt. I don't care what anybody says about him leaving the team early. I think he did what was in his best interest. I think he did what he had to do to not only protect his body but protect his status in the draft. And I think that's going to come out tonight when you see him. He's probably going to get drafted anywhere between the second and third round. I would be surprised if he drops any lower than that. Just with the film tape and especially with Jerry Jones right there, seeing how this guy has really contributed. I think the Cowboys are probably in his favor to pick him, if not in the first round. Like I said, the second or third. I definitely can't see Cheyenne falling past the third round.
I think it's Sosa one. I think Cheyenne will go second. I think Curl, and then I think Scooter Harris are going to be the 4 guaranteed to come off the board. I think, you'll have a couple of third rounders, maybe a fifth and a sixth rounder, but I think, I can see Sosa going late first, early second round in the draft. And then I think the sleepers will be TJ, and I do think Devois Whaley will get an outside. I think they'll get a free agent contract and have opportunity to earn their way on the roster.
I forgot about Devois.
If you use Devois, if he can be used as a out of the backfield receiver, I think that's going to best suit him. TJ Smith, I've always thought was just a grit guy. I think he'll be one of those guys.
And I think Devois is going to be one. I think Devois is going to be one of those like training camp guys that, once the pads get on and he gets to a program and again a system that fits what he needs. Like I see like the Ravens. I think that's a good program that would fit the type of running back that he is. They really like to use him, the running back in the flats. Really like to do a lot of screens, a lot of especially with the offensive threat that they have with Lamar Jackson. I think a program like that would fit Devois. But there's a couple of guys out there that, Chase Harold, he ended up having a pretty good pro day. So he's a guy that, might sneak on a couple guys' radar. So, it's going to be interesting to see where these Hogs go this weekend.
Well, we want to give a thank you for Guy for joining us at 2022 wide receiver and major prospect out of Moss Point, Mississippi, Moss Point High School, Larry Simmons, and for joining us. That kid's got a swagger that you just got to like. I mean, you have to respect his swag. And then also, too, we want to say thank you to Shield Taylor of Alexandria, Louisiana, Alexandria High School, the 2021 tight end prospect. It's going to have a lot of options, and I do think Arkansas will go down to the line and be one of the schools of interest for Shield, in my own personal opinion. But that's for a journey, and we're going to keep you on it. Also, too, want to give a thank you to our producer, Demetrius Johnson, and myself. Hey, I'm telling you now, tomorrow we got whole guys galore, and you don't want to miss it. I mean, we're going to be all over the United States because Sam recruits regionally. That's just what he does, and that's what they do. It just means more. But for today, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors, Lindsay and Associates, with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers, Locomotion, located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville, Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and lastly, the one we love and we talk about all the time, KDK's Chicken. Meet us there or beat us there. They're located at 989 Razorback Road. Go see Keith and Kathy, get all that love, and like they say on the building, it's not your mama's, but I added this, the best chicken and waffles in the South. But that's going to do it for our Thursday edition. We'll be back tomorrow. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. You guys have a blessed one, and let's get it.